Welcome to Gravity Cloud. We're going to do a demo where we build a bike shop. All right, we're going to take a look at our test site. You can see there's a road bike, a cruiser, and a mountain bike. Let's go ahead and look at what the road bike looks like right now. And you can see it's empty. You can't really order the bike. Now, we're going to log into Gravity Cloud, which is a tool for assembling forms. And in this case, we're using the forms for the WooCommerce e-commerce system. So what I'm going to do is show you how to build recipes for each bike so that you can order these online. Now, a few steps before we get started, I've created some components. They're simply gravity forms that are for each part of the bike. And I'll show you how quickly you can compose these together to build out the full store. So let's go ahead and we'll add our first bike. So I'm going to call the first one Cruiser. Okay. I've already got a product. So you can see product by Cruiser. This is the empty form that will receive the full build of the recipe. So right now this form is empty. It's just a simple empty gravity form on WordPress. I can show you that later. Now you've got to pick a type. I'm going to pick the e-commerce product type and I'm not going to style it. And I'm going to go ahead and start adding components. The first component we want is a master image. So this is going to be the bike image. The next component we're going to get is the bike frame, but we're going to get the cruiser bike frame. So I'm going to hit cruiser. Here it is. Now I'm going to add the color component, two. And now I'm going to grab the handlebars. And I need some tires, like tires. And I also need some seats. And I need some cranks. And then I'm going to add some JavaScript code that makes it so that this is a nice visually appealing demo. This JavaScript code is going to update that master image, the first component, with the items you're selecting for the bike. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, I also want to put an image for this bike. So I'm going to go over to my WooCommerce store. I'm going to go back to here and we're actually building out the cruiser. So I'm going to right click the image here and copy image address. And then I'm going to place that here just so I have a good visual for the cruiser. And I'll click add. Okay, great. We've got a recipe. This blue item here, product bike cruiser, that is an empty gravity form. I click that little arrow, it'll bring it up on the WordPress site. And there we go. It's just an empty form. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and now deploy this. Now I'm going to go back to our store and I'm going to pick the cruiser. And check it out. We've got a nice black cruiser bike. Oh, what if we pick a color? Fantastic. Since it's an SVG, I've added that JavaScript code that will then configure the colors. Perfect. I want my cruiser to be a little bit more comfortable. So I'm going to go for the really comfortable handlebars. It's got sort of a road tire. I'm going to put a thicker tire on there. I want a super comfy seat. And I'm looking for more like a fixie bike. So no gears, just a straight on powertrain. There we go. I've configured my bike. You can see the cost has gone up. It's a $442 bike. Fantastic. Now, we've built out a bike. So let's go back and take a look at our store again. We've done the cruiser, but if I look at the road bike, it's empty. If I look at the mountain bike, it's empty as well. So why don't I go ahead and build out those bikes? Let's go back to Gravity Cloud, close this down. Now, rather than building these from scratch, I'd rather just duplicate these. So I'm going to duplicate, and then I'm going to duplicate this one. Okay. So now that we've duplicated it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the image and the copy for these. So the second bike we have is a road bike. So let's build it the road bike. Okay. Now I'm going to take the image for the road bike. So I have a nice stock photo here. Copy image address, go back here. And I'll put in that nice photo. So the target form should be road bike. You can see I've already got an empty form there. You don't have to change the type. This is just saying it's an e-commerce form type. We'll leave that the same. Now the recipe. Obviously, we're going to have to change up the frame. So you can see the frame here is the cruiser. So I'm going to actually delete the cruiser frame and I'm going to add in the road bike frame. Add in road bike. Now you can see it's in the wrong order. So hit toggle sort and I'm going to move the frame right to the top. Okay. Click update. Now we've got a road bike. The last one we want to do is the mountain bike. Go ahead and do the same thing. Right click. We'll do copy image address. Go over here. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is put in the new image. New title. Mountain bike. I need to change the target form again. So we're going to type mountain bike frame. There we go. And we want to sort that to the top. Okay. Click update. There we go. We have 3 different bikes. Now let's deploy all 3. So I'll click deploy. You can see it's got 3 different bikes to deploy. I'm going to say deploy my 3 bikes. Let's go back to the store. Now let's look at our mountain bike. Very nice. So we got our mountain bike, and now let's go back and look at the road bike. So we got a nice road bike, purple, bit more comfortable handles, and I want different gears. Go with these ones. So you can see here now we have 3 different bikes, which is great. What if I wanted to actually change the way my e-commerce store worked? Rather than having 3 different styles, I wanted one single bike where I could order all the different frames. Let's call that configure any bike. You can see here it's empty. Let's make a new recipe for our configure any bike. Back to Gravity Cloud. Close this up. I'm going to duplicate the last bike. Duplicate. Now for this one, I'm going to grab the any bike image, which is a nice orange. Copy image address. Back here. And I'll put in my new image. I'm going to call this configure any bike. Now, instead of having the mountain bike, you're going to call it, I called it all bikes. So this is a new form for all bikes. Let's delete the mountain bike frame and let's put in the bike frames, plural. Okay. And we'll toggle and we'll sort that to the top. Click OK. Now this will allow you to select any of the 3 different frames. Okay. So now click update. Now let's just deploy this single form. Now let's take a look at our demo. If I click the configure any bike, you'll see I can pick any of my styles. So let's say I want to build that cruiser we started with, and I want to go with this nice light blue, go with this semi-comfortable handle. Let's go with a big knobby tire and a big mountain bike seat. There we go. Now I can alternately just switch frames and go for more speed, different saddle, different cranks. And there we go. We got a different bike altogether. So you can see with Gravity Cloud, you have the option with these recipes to really do a lot of testing. Let's say we wanted to do some A/B testing. What if we move the color type above the frame? I can simply go here and do a toggle sort, and I can move the bike frame under the color. Click save. Deploy that. Now we'll go back here and refresh. You can see here, now I'm picking color first, starting with the road bike, and now I can change the frame if I want to. So you can really order, sort. But the one part we haven't shown you yet is, what if I wanted to add some new colors? How would I do that? Super simple. Let's go back to Gravity Cloud. Close this down. Let's look at the color component. You'll notice the color component is the same across all of these different bikes. So let's go ahead and add a new color. Let's go over here. Now we're entering into Gravity Forms. Okay, so this is a standard Gravity Form with all the features and powers of Gravity Forms. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add some new colors just for fun. All right, great. So I'm going to add a new color. Let's see, I'm going to pick a color. How about a nice pink of some sort? Let's go in here. There we go. That looks pretty cool. Okay. Now let's add another one. Pick maybe a nice soft blue. We're going to save that form. We go back over here. And we're going to deploy all the bikes. Deploy. Now, if we go back over to my configuration, if we go back to the top of the store, if I go to my road bike, you'll see here, indigo, and this nice new blue, which is actually quite close to this blue, but still different. So you can see here, there's quite a few options because you're using the power of Gravity Forms. I could then check out the next bike. You'll see, because we're using recipes, I've just updated my entire shop with new colors because it's a recipe, it's a common component, and it works across the board. That's the power of recipes. The other interesting part is let's say I decide later, you know what, those two colors are not selling well. We're going to revert. We want to get rid of those changes. Just go to your history. You can see here, every deploy we've done during this demo is showing up. So let's say instead of the two new colors, I want to revert. I want to restore back to when I just had the other colors. Restore. So now if I go back to the road bike, you can see we're back to the old colors. Again, time travel is a great feature. Let's say you want to go back to where we are right now, just back to history and do a restore. And now we'll have all the colors and all the bikes again. Go back here, pick this bike. We've got the indigo color, the blue color, and orange, and all the other colors like that. Like I said, there's a ton of other things you can do, sorting the components. Let's say you want to do a radical change. So we're going to go to our cruiser and we'll do a complete resort. So instead of starting with color, we'll move color to be the last. We're going to make handlebars the first choice. Then we're going to do seat and then cranks and then tires and then color. Save, do a deploy. Okay, let's go to our cruiser. Now you're going to see now you're picking handlebars first. Then you're going to be picking seat. Then you're going to be picking crank. Then you'll be picking tires. And finally, color. So you can quickly do different tests like that. That's it for this demo.